Hey everybody, what's going on? This is Jamie Dawn, your professional psychic advisor, success coach, evolutionary revolutionary. And today's video is brought to you on Saturday, actually, May 12th, 2018. And thank you, everybody, for your love, your support, understanding while I was doing another thing that I love to do, which is support Nine Gates Mystery School. And we've got some big stuff coming to you. This is a Uranus and Taurus special, and I'm not going to necessarily go sign by sign, mostly because that'll come later. Those will be individual videos that I do. However, the other reason that I'm not doing it in this particular video is because there's a lot to cover, and when you look at your natal chart in astrology, where Uranus affects you personally is individual. And so if I said to you that Uranus is going to be in the 11th house and you are Cancer sun, it doesn't necessarily mean all Cancers are going to be affected that way. It's going to have an influence, but it doesn't necessarily mean that that's where it's going to affect you on a personal level. So let me just dive right in, because we have a big week this week. So this video is going to serve for the week's energy. We have a new moon the same day on Tuesday that Uranus moves into Taurus, and Mars is at its critical 29th degree of Capricorn before it moves into Aquarius, and it's in the shadow period right now, and before it's going to go retrograde in just a few weeks too. So we've got some pretty big stuff that's happening. But what I want to talk most about this week is Uranus and Taurus. And the reason being, I've listened to my fellow astrologers, which I love and respect, and they have great wisdom and insight. And so this is my perspective, and this is also my, I'll call it channeling of what I believe is happening for us. So when we look at the energy of Uranus and Taurus, we are being asked to think differently, to be innovative and inventive, as well as to rebel against certain physical structures and resources in our lives that don't work for us anymore. We're going to be looking at how can we think differently, how can we understand and manifest differently our time, our energy, our food, our activities, our energy centers. All of these are resources that we're being asked to reinvent. And now Uranus is dipping its toe in Taurus right now. It will retrograde back into Aries for a brief period of time in a couple of months, and then it will finally settle into Taurus after that. But so we're going to get a little taster of what this means. Now, the last time that Uranus was in Taurus, there was big stuff that was happening, right? This was right at the beginning and middle of World War II. So we know that there's energy that can reveal itself very similarly. The other thing with Uranus and Taurus is we're going to be looking at values. We're going to be looking at not necessarily breaking free of our values, because when Uranus has been in Aries, that has been that opportunity for us to reinvent ourselves, to reinvent our idea of self, to be able to remove those layers that haven't allowed us to be our most authentic self. Remember, Jupiter is still in Scorpio, and it's demanding authenticity. It's demanding us to be in our truth and our power. And it's just expanding that, right? So here we are with Uranus in Aries, moving into Taurus, and we've been peeling off these masks and these layers and saying, who am I now? I'm reinventing myself. And once Uranus moves into Taurus this next week on Tuesday, we're going to start anchoring in who we really are. We may have shared this with ourselves. We may have shared who we think we are with our fellow tribe members, family members, that sort of thing. But what we're going to be doing, and they may have, their responses may have been, oh yeah, okay, that's great. But what we're really going to be doing now is saying, no, really, I'm serious. This really is who I am. And this really is what I need and what I value and what I want. And so we're going to be taking our resources and manifesting and putting into place what it is we think about ourselves now, who we are. We're anchoring in a physical way, because remember, Taurus is this physicality. It's an earth sign. And Uranus is an air sign, or Aquarius, it rules Aquarius, which is an air sign, which is mental activity. And so we have this earth and mental, or mind, coming together and saying, I'm thinking differently, because Uranus is that rebel, that breaking free, right? I'm thinking a little differently about what I value or who I am and what I see in my physical structures, in my physical world, right? So you're going to find that if you've been waiting for a house to sell, it's going to go just like that. It's sudden, right? You may get a sudden offer. If you've been waiting on a health issue to get cleared up, suddenly there's a new solution, new innovation. Look at what's happening all around the world when it comes to technology and science and the medical field, right? So there's other things that are happening with our resources. If you notice, over the last several years, especially with these new millennials, they're coming up, they're wanting to get back to more intentional communities. They're wanting to come back to a more natural resources, preserving our resources and using what we have, restructuring the resources that we have. You're also going to find our value system, because Taurus rules values. Venus rules the sign of Taurus, and it has to do with value systems, money, what we attract in our lives, right? So we're going to be looking at our value system as well and changing it. And sometimes it may be a sudden change. It may be, well, I once valued making X amount of dollars, right? Maybe I valued being a gardener, and now I'm going to, suddenly I have this new idea that the new value system is, how do I use solar energy in order to power my irrigation system, right? To grow my vegetables. So we're going to be also looking at the monetary system. We already have a small taster where cryptocurrency and blockchain and some of these other new ways of paying for things, these new ideas and concepts of money are coming in. You also notice that the financial institutions are rethinking the way that they do things. And notice too, a lot of us are starting to pull energy away from the bigger banks and moving into the locals. We're also getting back to a lot of bartering system. I feel that is going to continue. It'll be an interesting time. I will also offer this. I believe that with Uranus moving into Taurus, dipping back into Aries, and then settling in, is that if there is a conflict, a worldwide conflict, it will be over resources. So that's something else. One other thing to note is that Uranus does rule earthquake or sudden activity, lightning, that sort of thing. You notice what's happening what's happening in Hawaii with the volcanic eruptions, and we're also going to find a time where all this earth shaking is going to continue. There's been little earthquakes, which I know California is used to them, but there's been more earthquakes in California. We're going to find that this also, also may come up as well for us. So let me offer this before the end of the video. What do we do with it? Can we stop it? I hear that question quite a bit. Can we influence it, or can we stop this, even Mother Earth restructuring herself? I will say we can influence, right? But we can't always stop what has been set in motion, or we can't control everything. Think about this. Uranus rules the nervous system. If you have a nervous twitch, or you get this electrical pain or this electrical shock or whatever it might be, we don't always know where it comes from or we can't control it. We can only respond to it. I feel like that's also what's going to be coming up for us over the next couple of years, is there's going to be a lot more of a responsive nature to us with our resources. So it's important that we prepare the ground now, our foundation now, for responding to whatever shows up, because that's the one thing we can control, is our response to it. Can we be kind? Can we be compassionate? Can we be nurturing? Can we allow ourselves to choose peace? And those are some of the things that we're going to continue to work with. So this is just a small taster. I will continue to talk about what the energy is for us. I choose not to do a very long video on the Uranus and Taurus energy because we're going to keep, it's going to be here for 7 years. So we have plenty of time to keep talking about what is coming up for us moment by moment, choice by choice. So with that being said, please, if you need me, you know where to find me at jamiedawn.com, 12listen.com. I'm at 12 Radio on Thursdays at 9 a.m. Pacific. And I would love just to continue to support you however I can. Thank you for your love and your support and liking, commenting, sharing these videos. And there will be more. I will continue. Maybe on Tuesday, I'll do another video because it is a new moon and it's a dark moon. And there's some big energy that's happening, and I want to be able to support you any way that I can. So until then, I'll leave you one other thought with the new moon. This is a time to plant the seed of what do I value most? How do I manifest that? And is it in alignment? Is my will and thy will, whatever thy is for you, are they in alignment when I'm manifesting and pushing this out into a physical reality? Work with that. All right, you guys, we'll talk soon. Have a wonderful week.